Thun, the so-called gate to the Bernese Oberland, and a perfect example for the beautiful cities of Switzerland. At its heart lays the Mühliplatz, a bristling square for tourists and locals alike. A wide variety of restaurants use this open space to delight their customers with all kinds of refreshing beverages and tasty dishes. Mere 30 years ago, this would have been unthinkable, since the biggest building in town, the mill, used to be located here. Today we are joined by Markus Binggeli. He grew up in Thun and now teaches here at the Berufsschule. Today he shares his earliest memories about the place.
When I was a boy, there was a huge building here and it was far bigger than any other buildings in the city. And there was a lot of trucks coming and going, and because this was an old mule standing here. And I remember the first impression was when I was walking on the hand of my mother near the building, and I remember the pavement was very old and I could hardly walk on it. Since the electricity came to the city, it was no longer a point of being an industrial place in the middle of the center. And you know, we had all these trucks coming in and farmers coming in, bringing their wheat and all that, and this was not really good for the city.
With the retirement of the building as a mill in 1982, he became an industrial fellow for many years. During this time, the building was used as a cultural hotspot for events, exhibitions and concerts. In 1985, the people of Thun decided, through a vote, to tear down the building. It took 4 years to start realizing this plan and another 5 years until the square, as we know it today, was officially inaugurated in 1995, but not without a small illegal occupation.
There was quite a big struggle about this building because a lot of local artists thought that it would be nice to have such a building as a cultural thing, like having concerts in it or exhibitions. And for a certain time the artists took over, so they went into the building and made some illegal events. For example, Zürich West concert in Thun.
Do you think it could have been something like the Reithal in Bern?
It was, for a certain time, it was turning towards this a little bit. But like, you know, or maybe Rote Fabrik in Zurich and Reithal Bern, sort of this movement was about the same time. But it was not completely, how can I say, it did not really succeed, because there are other places in Thun where and that took over this movement.
What do you think about the changes you have observed and how the place is now?
You know, first when they sort of smashed it to the ground, it hurt a little bit. But after all these years, having a place, an open space like that in the middle of the town, and seeing all the buildings behind the mule having sun now, because they were all in the shade for more than 100 years. I'm sort of glad that it's used, and it's used for different reasons, for different purposes, and by thousands of people it has become the center of the city, actually. After all, even though I was amongst them who thought that at least a part of the mule should have been preserved, I'm glad that it has become what it is today. They have tried to show the history of the place by going through with the river across the place, and you can still see how energy moved. back then.
What do you think about the place today?
It's a masterpiece. It's a nice place to be. It's quiet. Apart from this river, you hear practically nothing. And people meet, and what could be better for a place?